Hey guys, in today's video I'll be doing a versus battle between Oodles Chinese and Chopsticks. Both of these places are similar enough in regards to their food, the way they serve their food and their pricing. So I'll eat at both, I'll grab lunch at both, I'll tell you guys which place you should spend your money on. But just before I do that, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We're growing a really cool foodie community here. So if you are a foodie, make sure to hit that subscribe button before you leave. Now that's out of the way, without further ado, let's get cracking. So I'll start with Oodles Chinese. I actually did a poll on Instagram to see what you guys want to see. This is the video that won, so I'm super excited, super pumped to start. Hey guys, so I'm starting, like I said, with Oodles. If you've seen my review for these guys before, you know the setup, so I'll be really brief and just break it down for you. So you start with a base, you get to pick up to two. I've gone for plain chips and egg fried rice. In my previous review, I think I actually had chili chips, but I've gone for plain chips today. Here's the morning, I've gone for chili, okay, normal chips are for the morning apparently. So I've got normal chips and egg fried rice, and then you get to pick one dry dish and one wet dish. I've gone for salt and pepper chicken and chili chicken. I have tried both of these before, like I said in my previous review. I know I enjoy them. Let's give it a go. One that stands out immediately is Oodles Chinese. Very much more an Indo-Chinese place. They do have a couple of dishes that are like Pan-Asian. They've got like a Thai dish. I think I saw Malaysian chicken on there as well, but generally it's more of an Indo-Chinese place for sure. Chopsticks is very much a Pan-Asian place, but I'll go over that when I go to Chopsticks. Really decent size. It's a decent amount of chicken in these portions as well. And it's got a really good spice to it as well. What I would say generally, salt and pepper isn't a wet dish and it isn't really like this, but you have to remind yourself it's more of an Indo-Chinese dish. So they've added a little bit of chili, they've added a bit of wetness. It's tasty. Okay, it's super early. I'm gonna crack on. I've got myself a Monster. Guys, every time I show even like a hint of an energy drink on Instagram, I get told off. So offset those dislikes by people disliking the Monster can and drop this video a like. Something that I haven't ordered today is the spicy hot wings. They're actually delicious. I ordered them last time. They're really fresh, they're really flavorful. They're like sticky on the outside, but like really soft on the inside. Highly recommend those. Haven't ordered them today, honestly, because I've got this to eat, I've got chopsticks to eat, and I've got the gym in like an hour. Highly recommend those guys. Another quick point to make is a lot of the food here is actually made fresh. Whilst they have the same concept as Chopsticks, where you'll basically pick like a base and then toppings, a lot of the times you'll see the sort of containers of food empty here, and that's because the turnover of food is really fast. So whilst you may have to wait a minute or two, it's definitely worth it for fresh, hot food. Okay, so that was Oodles Chinese. Let's move on to Chopsticks. Right guys, so on my way to Chopsticks. That was a pretty good lunch, I have to say. You know, both these places aren't really Michelin star restaurants for sure, but decent food, decent quality at a really decent price as well. So excited to get myself over to Chopsticks. Okay, so I'm now at Chopsticks. Let's give this a go. So like I said, similar concept. You pick a base and then I've gone for the medium again. So you actually get two toppings. Now I've gone for the chicken curry and the salt and pepper chicken. You can also add some wings on as well for £1. So I've got two wings, I've got a salt and pepper wing, and I've got a sweet chili wing. Looking forward to trying this and comparing to Oodles. Let's start with a little bit of a favorite, salt and pepper chicken. Whenever I see this on the menu, I always get this, guys. Let's give this a go. That is a pretty good salt and pepper chicken. A pet peeve is when they don't use enough flavor. There's a ton of salt and pepper flavoring on there. The meat is like quite chunky. There's a good few pieces in there as well, which is good. Overall, that's a good salt and pepper chicken. Okay, moving on to the chicken curry. That is a pretty decent curry. I would say it needs a touch more flavor, but again, that is actually pretty good. I think the actual meat quality is pretty good. The chicken is nice and soft. There's a good-ish amount in there as well. I'd say Oodles has a slightly bigger portion, but the portion here isn't tiny. This is only the medium. They do one size up as well. Rice, I always pick rice over noodles, though they give you that option. It's pretty good as well. It's nice and fluffy. You'll notice, guys, I'm actually sat in the Manchester Arndale food market. That's because there's a Chopsticks here in Manchester Arndale in the food court. However, they don't have seating at the moment due to the current situation. So I brought my food from the food court and brought it to the food market, which does have seating. Chopsticks is definitely more of a sort of a pan-Asian restaurant. They've got Chinese dishes, Thai dishes. They offer a chicken katsu dish, which is a Japanese dish. I think you can add 25 pence and then you actually get the piece of chicken. You can add some sauce to it as well. Definitely more of a pan-Asian, whereas Oodles Chinese is definitely more of a Indo-Chinese restaurant. Moving on to the wings. I do love the wings at Oodles, so I'm interested to see what the wings here at Chopsticks taste like. This is the salt and pepper wing. Generous amount of salt and pepper seasoning, which is great. However, I do find the meat actually a touch dry. Not sure if you can see that, guys, but it is a touch dry. Moving on to the sweet chili. It's obviously a lot wetter of a dish, which gives the illusion that it might be less dry, but honestly, the meat itself is still a touch dry. It's certainly flavored quite well, and for £1 you can't really complain, but it is a bit dry. Okay, so now I've eaten at both restaurants. I'm gonna digest my thoughts, digest my food, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts in a second. Okay guys, so now it's time for my final thought. What I'll do is I'll just compare a few different things like the price, the taste, quality of the food, like the seating, just like the overall package of each place, and then I'll actually tell you which place I would recommend you go to. Price-wise, they're actually pretty similar. Oodles is slightly more expensive for the medium. I think it rolls in at £7.50 for dinner, and during their lunchtime offer, which I think is between 11 and 3, it's £6.50, whereas it's £6.25 from Chopsticks for the medium. However, with Oodles, I would say they're small, which is normally £6.50, and then at lunchtime between 11 and 3, it's £5.50, is actually probably the same size as the medium from Chopsticks. So the Oodle small is about the same size as the medium from Chopsticks. And if I'm being honest, both these places are kind of lunchtime places for me, so I think it's good to compare the lunchtime price. So really, for me, it would be £5.50 from Oodles and £6.25 from Chopsticks. So Oodles is a touch cheaper. Where I think Chopsticks is better is actually in their variety of food, because it's more of a pan-Asian place rather than specifically like a Chinese or a Japanese or a Thai or a Korean place. It's sort of pan-Asian. They've got a better variety of food. I still like the food at Oodles, however, in the variety, definitely goes to Chopsticks. Overall quality and taste, I would say it's pretty comparable. However, I do think it's a bit better at Oodles. I think a lot more of their food is freshly cooked. They often have like empty trays and stuff. Like when you go in, the containers for the food are often empty, and that's because they do cook a lot of their food fresh. So I would say the quality of the food is probably a little bit better at Oodles, and I would say that's the same for the taste. I do think the taste is a bit better at Oodles. So overall, I would say Oodles is the better restaurant to go to. That's where I would spend my money. If I were you, that's where I would recommend. Guys, if you like this video, make sure to like the video. Do subscribe before you leave as well. I've got plenty more to come, and I'll see you guys in that next video. Bye, 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 bye.